All right. So VMware Skyline, get your notes out there, Willie. We're good. VMware Skyline race to zero, right? This is my experience with my TAM customers when Skyline's first rolling out, where Skyline is the best free product that VMware has, right? And I'm just going to focus on kind of the findings today, right? How to get started, right? So, but this is a race. I'm going to talk really fast. We'll have a discussion at the end. So we'll get rolling here. So required disclaimer. You guys seen that about 1,600 times this week. We'll go through the agenda. We're going to do a very quick overview. We're going to get into the race, and then we're going to figure out how to continue the race. Unfortunately, the race never ends, right? It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint in our worlds. So how many people here are familiar with Skyline, have it deployed, collecting in their environment? Come on, everybody's got to raise their hand. You either get a TAM or you need to go check it out. There's a million sessions here. Go see Sunny. Sunny and the product team has multiple sessions all week. So this is Skyline Advisor, right? They kind of pride themselves on this is a pro team member and not just another tool. So just to kind of go through how Skyline works, you set up your collectors, you configure your vCenters to push to your collectors. It listens, analyzes, and acts. So it's pulling all your vCenter stuff, information in, analyzes it, and then provides what we're going to go into today. It provides the findings back out. So it's configuration, troubleshooting, certs, and then it breaks down by product. So it also does Horizon, VROPS, but can't collect logs from Verizon. There's a whole log assist side to it to streamline some of your stuff from GSS, right? Because it's always a lot easier to say, hey, I have Skyline, and the logs are out there, you go grab them and tell me what's wrong, right? So the race begins. So we're going to focus on just that one part there. So customer comes in, and we talk about Skyline. They say, this is awesome, let's get it set up, right? You turn it on, you configure all your vCenters, you throw a couple of VROPS instances, maybe NSX managers, and you wait a little bit, and then you have findings, right? And you kind of, this is actually not too bad, but it pops up and says, hey, I have 250 findings. It's like, okay. And everyone looks at critical, right? Like, where do I start? There's a bunch of stuff there. Now I have 10,000 affected objects. You know, where do I start? It starts to get an analysis paralysis. So my method was always, let's start here. And the best part is you drill down into it, right? And the interface has changed with 6.4 or whatever it was that just came out last week. So you come out here, I always say, start with the troubleshooting ones. Start with the ones that you know, are potentially really going to cause a problem, and then we'll get into configuration. So configuration is all your, they call them VCF findings now, but that's all the VVD documentation, right? So VVD was the cookbook and the decision making to build out your virtual environment with the VMware stack. And now we've spun that into VCF, and now, you know, VCF's now an automated product. So start with troubleshooting and filter down, drill down into it. And the best part is you have your findings here. You can export it out and get all your information into nice, somewhat formatted CSV. And then you can either drop that into a script, you know, build out your change record, drop it into your change record system, all that stuff. And then one level deeper is when you drill into each finding, right? This is my favorite, NTP, right? Oh yeah, we got that. It works, it works. And it's like, wait a minute, time one, you know, whatever.com, it's like, we haven't used that in 20 years. But, so you drill into here, it shows you all your effective objects, and in this case it's a host, and this is a configuration type finding. You hit export, it's all there, right? So how many people have, host goes PSOD, you pull the logs, you send it up to GSS, you're saying, hey, what happened? They come back and give you a KB and it's, a driver or something random like that. And what's the first question whoever you report up to ask? No, not yet. We're not there, but they always ask, okay, this PSOD, this host, what's the scope of this? What's the potential problem of that, right? And with this, and if the KB is linked, you could say, hey, it happened to this one host, but our 2,000 of our other them all could happen too. So it allows you to prioritize that data a little bit more, right? So when we get into troubleshooting, right, quick and dirty, right? Critical, we always look at, but from a troubleshooting perspective, if it's disk, look for failure or full, right? Those are always ones that are right now fix, right? And you can kind of, I'm showing the examples over there. And then in troubleshooting, my next priority was lost or down, right? That's all of our storage pathways and stuff like that. And you just work through it, kind of I always say start small, start with an environment, start with a known issue, start with just some subset, because if you start working up here, okay, let's do this one. Okay, let's do this one. You're never going to prioritize and be able to work through the product. So from a configuration standpoint, right, that's your best practices, your hardenings, right? That's all your versions, right? Drivers, number of objects, and when you go back into it, it's always I always say know your environment. So if you click on one of those, it'll tell you what the risk is if you don't take action on it, right? And in some cases, it's a cosmetic issue. In some cases, it's something that's a little bit more critical. So it's always something that we go back, and it allows you to, particularly if you picked up in an environment that you didn't build, it allows you to learn your environment and work through there. And you'll get in configurations and even troubleshooting, you'll get your threshold type environments or threshold type of errors, like, hey, you have X amount of data stores that are 99 or 98% full. Well, one of those data stores is 3 terabytes, so it's really not that big of a deal. You can go in and then mute your findings as well. But as you mute findings, always remember to go back and look at them, right? And it's a cyclical process. So once you get through the configuration, right, we work into our update findings, right? And those are, yeah, your vSphere versions, all the good stuff, right? So there is when you go into the upgrade section, I always call that's the bang for your buck slide, right? It tells you, hey, if you upgrade from this version to this version, it's going to take care of this many findings and this many objects. So that kind of allows you to prioritize that stuff out as well. And then all the findings, there's a catalog, and this kind of goes back to like, hey, we were hit by this particular KB. Where else, are we vulnerable to that? And all your information can be found there. And my suggestion here is subscribe to the release notes, right? It's always being updated. There's always CVEs and VMSAs coming out. And it's all, I mean, they update the signature set and the findings pretty frequently. And if you do hit into some issues, it's always good to go out here and search for that KB to figure out if, hey, can Skyline tell me this, right? And in a lot of cases, it's absolutely yes, it can. So this is the upgrade recommendations, right? It'll do the compatibility check, and obviously I did a great job showing this example, right? Good old lab environments. So it'll tell you that, you know, whatever particular version that you're going to from a VT, vSAN, VROPS, Horizon, if it's compatible, so you can start figuring out the compatibility matrix. And then down here, it's like, hey, this will take care of this many critical findings, this many moderate findings. I think now it actually lists out objects as well. So that's how I usually advise my customers to get started. Let's start with the troubleshooting, work into configuration, right? Configuration is kind of like the compliance side of the house. And then, you know, don't worry about the 77 findings that affects every host in your environment, right? Because those are upgrades, right? So you're obviously working through your upgrades, and you know your TAM's probably telling you that you need to get off 6.7 because 10.15, right? So this is kind of a good way to prioritize some of that work, right? And my favorite line, right, is just keep not doing anything is never an option, right? And it only makes that technical debt roll up and get larger, right? Don't be afraid to dig into stuff, right? Focus and start biting off, you know, digestible chunks, right? Know your environment. Know what's important and what's not important, right? I mean, if you have data store errors or data store threshold, stuff like that. Spectre meltdown's always another good finding that's always out there. So it allows you to know your environment. And then what I'm seeing a lot is Skyline is now becoming the central inventory for a lot of my customers. And it's like, hey, you know, we're finding more environments, we're dumping it in the Skyline, it's becoming the central repository, and it's like, maybe we should use this to write that information off the ServiceNow. So, and my favorite is start small, work your way from good, work your way out from there, and to do lifecycle or to be good at lifecycle management, you actually have to do lifecycle management, and this kind of puts the knowledge and planning around that. And subscribe to the release notes, because there's always new findings coming out, and it's a SaaS service, so your collectors are supposed to auto update, but you know, when you get that friendly reminder that says, hey, the new version comes out, it's always good to go into the VAMI and click the auto update. So, but again, just keep on running, keep on moving forward, because standing still is not you know, just causes problems for everyone. So how to continue the race? Walk down these halls, pull up your app and find anything Skyline, right? Because there's a bunch of it out here. The product team's out in full force, and they'll go into the login, the log assist. Now the whole exporting findings and objects. Now Sunny has come up with the Skyline Automation Toolkit and does a lot of that via API. There's an API inside in there that easily allows you to set up the APIs to pull some of this information out. So some of your management now is all command line based, and you know, you work into all that stuff. If you have a TAM, if you don't have a TAM, get one. Now I'm getting paid. So if you have a TAM, he can run all the best practice reports, insight reports right out of Skyline, instead of putting the TAM data collectors out there. So I mean, it's a lot of the same information there as well. So, and then here's my Linkorama page, which probably now are a little bit outdated, but you're at Explore. I about called it VMworld. Am I allowed saying that? But there's a meet the experts, hands-on labs. Go over to TAM Customer Central. If you're a TAM customer, everyone wants to talk about it over there. And Sunny and Kelsey have done a great job putting information out in the community. So you just got to go out there, look. And like I said, it's the race to zero to get that findings down to zero. But unfortunately, it never stops, right? So it's a good place is get started. Start small. Start digesting some of those pieces and working through them. So here's my questions, but looks like both of our guys left here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll hang around out here. There's a survey, thumbs up, whatever the scale is, number 5s for all of them. So, and that's pretty much it.